So, I came out turkey hunting today, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be a great day or not because it was absolutely pouring this morning. Like, the weather report said 30 to 50% rain, but however, by the time I woke up at 2 o'clock a.m. just to kind of, I didn't plan to go out early today, but I did kind of get up at 2 a.m. just to kind of like see what the weather was doing. It's actually 100% rain, absolutely pouring. So I kind of stayed in bed until about 5 a.m. and I plan to get out at 7 a.m. today. So the rain was supposed to start letting up around 8 a.m. and I just didn't think it would be a great day. So yeah, I came in a little later today, and it was raining when I got here, and there's another truck in the parking lot. Oh great, I figured I'd have the whole property to myself considering the rain. So I was hoping this guy was maybe either going or maybe by chance wasn't turkey hunting. So about 30-40% rain. I actually started to pack up to come in here, and the guy actually opened his window and we talked a little, and he was not turkey hunting. I don't know what he was doing, but he wished me luck, and yeah, so I came out here earlier today, and I should note on the way here, I saw a turkey in the middle of a field in the pouring rain, so I thought that would be a good sign. Not a huntable property at all, private property, and yeah, so I got out here. It's raining pretty heavily when I got here, and I set up some decoys in the field, and not a single gobble. So this is the second Saturday of turkey hunting season, and not a single turkey, not a single one. I was here a couple of weeks ago for the day after opening day, and they were just lighting up, absolutely lighting up with gobbles. So I figured I'd go for a little walk and just check out some of my deer hunting areas, and found some of the scrapes I was hunting over last winter and fall, and I actually saw a deer, so go figure. Yeah, the reason I wanted to record this is just because it's kind of on my mind. I actually might be moving away from this property for turkey hunting because it is pretty heavily pressured. It is public land, so there's like at least 3 other guys that hunt here, and when they were lighting up with the gobbles a couple weeks ago, there were like 2 other guys after them, and one of those guys cut off one of the turkeys and got it. So I'm not so sure how much longer I'm going to be hunting this property for turkey. I don't have too much competition for deer at this property, so that's pretty nice. But I actually am going to be moving away from this property for deer as well, because I got more of a private situation going on elsewhere that I actually just scouted for this past week, and it's looking pretty good. So because I'm kind of scouting new properties, I actually just wanted to talk about mapping apps on the phone. I do know a lot of guys use OnX and HuntStand and such. However, I have tried those in the past, but I actually do kind of my own thing. So for anyone that doesn't want to pay for an app, I'm sure that these options are pretty similarly available on the iPhone, but I use an Android, Samsung. So I actually use a combination of a couple apps when I'm scouting for properties. Primarily, I actually just use Google Maps. So that way, as I'm like walking through woods on land, I can actually just set my pins on Google Maps, and I basically give them descriptions. Um, so just to kind of give you an idea, so as I'm walking through the woods, wherever my GPS pin has me, you can click the screen and hold it, and it'll give you an option to save a pin there, and then you can assign it to a category. So I have a category just called hunting, and then you can name the pin. So basically, just an example, I don't know if you can see that, I have a couple of pins there named turkey feeding and intersection for the turkey main path, just for example. And then the great thing about Google Maps is you can then go in later on your computer, go to the web browser version, and then you can kind of access those same pins as long as you're logged into Google. And then what I like to do is, I know it varies by where you are in the United States, but here in Massachusetts, you need to have 500 feet away from a dwelling. So then what I end up doing is I find any local dwellings, and then I make sure that I am at least 500 feet away from those dwellings. And then, if you can see there, I do like a boundary. So I do like 500 feet safe, and I do it every 25 to 50 yards or so, and I do a whole boundary, so when I'm out in the woods, I can actually see that boundary right on the map. So Google Maps does have some limitations. So the limitations being it doesn't really show property boundaries, which are pretty important. Here in Massachusetts, you do have to kind of obey by posted signs and no hunting signs and such. But it is a good idea to know whose property you are on, and making sure you are on public property. So there's one other app that I usually use, and that's an app called Acres. So Acres is beneficial because, unlike Google Maps, it actually shows trails. So I'm going to show you just an example. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a little black dot right where we are. I also noticed that the GPS marker on Acres might be a little more accurate than Google Maps for some reason. But yeah, so it actually shows the trails. So it's actually useful. So if you have a property that you found online and you haven't actually gone there yet, or you're thinking about going to a property you've never been to, you can actually see if there's any actual pre-made trails. It's not 100% accurate because the land that I scouted this past week, I was following what was supposed to be a trail, and it wasn't really kept up pretty well. I mean, the trail was probably years and years old, and it just wasn't really valid. But for a normal person, for a hunter, it's probably fine. But you're not going to go walking your dog there. The other important thing is, again, Acres will show property boundaries, unlike Google Maps. So Acres, again, it's on Google Play Store. I'm sure it's on iPhone as well. You'll have to look, let me know. But then what you can do is you can click the property and it'll tell you basically how big the property is. So for instance, the one I just clicked, I'm not going to show where I am because I'm just not, but 101 acres. Tells you the parcel number and the location, the county you're in. The one thing that I will say that Acres does not do is it doesn't show you the owner of the property unless you pay for it. So that kind of stinks. But what you can do is once you kind of establish where the property lines are, then you can go back home, go to your computer, and you can open up like a GIS system online, which all the GIS systems online is a lot for free. A lot of times your state will have one, so you can actually click the property on there and it'll tell you who the owner is and whether it's public land or not, or whether it's private land but open to hunting, which is sometimes the case. So once you kind of scout out the area, I mean, you're just going to know, for the future. And then Acres is super useful because say you are up against a property that's private property, but you're hunting public land, and that private property is closed, you can then use Acres to kind of figure out how close you can get within reason to not kind of infringe on those that property. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And yeah, again, I know a lot of people use Hunt Stand and Onyx, but yeah, I just use Google Maps and Acres, and it's great. So if anyone has any other ideas for hunting, I'd be curious. But yeah, figured just gonna kind of do this video because today it's been kind of slow, and I think I'm gonna probably take off shortly. But I've been here for a few hours now. The rain has stopped, but again, not a single gobble. It seems to be the case every year as the season draws on. I just feel like I got a lot of action first week of the season, and then it just kind of dies out. There have been a couple of harvests here, I know for a fact, because there was one a Tuesday that I came here, and I know for a fact there was one here Saturday, last Saturday, some harvest one. So yeah, the population has taken a little bit of a hit. I don't know exactly how many turkeys are here. I counted at least 4, possibly 5, and then figure -2, so I mean it's going to be at least 2 or 3 Jakes or Toms here still, but yeah, it's been quiet, so I'm going to do a little more scouting, maybe do some crow calls to see if I can muster up some gobbles to respond, and if I don't find any turkeys to hunt, I am pretty much done hunting today. And maybe I'll come out next Saturday, depending on the weather conditions. The rain can definitely change the routine of turkeys. And what I think is happening today is I think the turkeys are out. And I think what they're probably doing is they're gravitating to people's yards around the property. This public property is pretty heavily wooded, and when it rains, they want to go right for yards and fields. And there is a field here, but it's like, and it's public, but public access, but it's one of many, and a lot of the yards and fields here are private. So It's just the roll of the dice, I think. And I don't think I'm going to have a great chance today here, which is why for next year I actually found a lovely field on what looks like public property that I will be scouting sometime before next turkey season, next year. And I might move over there and stop hunting there, but we'll see. Alright, just wanted to do a video, and yeah. Just comment if you have any feedback on the map issue, and yeah.